Who gets custody of your children in Massachusetts if there is no court order? Let's talk about that. So in Massachusetts, it depends on if you are married or if you are not married. If you are married, both parents have legal and physical custody. So that's shared custody or joint custody until a decision is made. Now, if you're not married, in Massachusetts, the mother has sole legal and physical custody. So that means that the mother can make the big decisions for the child, such as medical decisions, religious upbringing, education, and so forth. Now, even if you're not married, both parents can file for custody. However, paternity needs to be established before the alleged father can file for custody. There are two ways in which paternity can be established. The first is through a voluntary acknowledgement of paternity. Oftentimes this happens at the hospital at the time the child is born. There's basically just a form that's filled out and the father signs off and he is considered then to be the father. It can be later, however. Men should be careful about signing such a form, however, because they only have 60 days from the date of acknowledging paternity to withdraw that acknowledgement. So that means you only have 60 days before you say, maybe I'm not the father, or I want a DNA test to prove it, or whatever. After 60 days, you only have 1 year from that time. So after 60 days through the end of the year, you are sort of on an uphill battle because you have to show that there was fraud, duress, or a material mistake of fact that caused you to sign the voluntary acknowledgement of paternity. After 1 year, even if DNA tests are made, even if somebody else comes forward and says that they are the father and the DNA confirms that, you're still out of luck. You're basically still considered the father of that child, and you are obligated to support that child financially, specifically through child support. Now, another way of establishing paternity is that the mother can file a complaint to establish paternity. Basically, they're saying, Judge, this man is, I believe, the father of my child. I want him to take a DNA test to confirm that. The court would order a DNA test be made on the alleged father and match that up with the child to see if indeed the DNA matches and that person is the father. Even though the mother has sole physical and legal custody, she may want to get an order to that effect. She may want to do so so that she can avoid situations such as where the father tries to prevent her from living with the child and making important decisions. For an example, a mother may need to show the order to police officers if the father refuses to let her have her child. Now, even if you're not married, therefore would not be going through a divorce, child custody and child support would still need to be established if a couple splits up and there are minor children involved. If that's the case, something has to be filed with the court, what is called a complaint for custody, visitation, and support. It's similar to custody in a divorce case, but with certain differences. For instance, in such a case, the judge must find that shared or joint custody is in the child's best interest. And that can happen if the parents agree and sign off on such an agreement. Otherwise, they must have to show that there's been a shared and joint responsibility of each of the parents in raising the child prior to filing that form. And if they haven't lived together and sort of lived as a family raising the child, it will be very difficult to make such a showing. If you're thinking about getting divorced in Massachusetts, we want you to have a free checklist that we've made of the 7 most important things to consider before filing for divorce. Please go to affordlaw.org/checklist to get this free PDF so that you have a better understanding of what you need to be considering. At Afford Law, we're making justice affordable.